Hey, all right. So, y'all, sorry, I've been at hot yoga and I'm a mess, but I've looked worse on here, right? So, I wanted to hop on. I'm always talking about skin, but today I wanted to talk about skin in a different way. Uh, you know where I'm going with this. But I want to tell you a story first because I love stories. And so, when my daughter, bless her, was 3, she started at a new school that was a pre-K 3 to 8th grade. Of course, she's still there. And so it was a new school, and she'd never done carpool or anything. I'd always walked in with her to daycare, and this was totally new. And so one of the first days I picked her up from school in carpool, she was like so excited. She actually, and bless her heart, they brought a different child out to my car the very first day. And I said, no, wrong kid. That's not my kid. And so they yelled back, wrong kid. Because they didn't know the new people, our cars yet. And then they brought Ava out. So the next day, when I dropped her off, I said, okay, now remember, you go and line up at the end of the day after nap, and mommy will come in that carpool line and pick you up. And she said, yes, when they yell wrong kid, I go. And I was like, oh no, you're not the wrong kid. That was the wrong car. So anyway, the second day I picked her up, I said, I picked her up and I was like, we pulled up to put her little 5-point restraint in. Oh, I missed that. And I said, so how was your day? Did you make new friends? Because she didn't know anyone there yet. But they make friends easily. I said, who'd you play with? And she said, well, there's a pink lily and a brown lily, and I played with the pink lily today. And I said, oh, because I'm thinking pink dress, pink bows. I was lost. And then it dawned on me that the pink lily was probably a white child, and the brown lily was probably either a Hispanic or black child or a mixed race child. And I was like, and suddenly it hit me. My husband and I don't use qualifiers. If I say a friend's coming over, I don't say my black friend, my gay friend, my Jewish friend. We don't use qualifiers. When we first got together, our next door neighbors who have become family, they become family. He said, John and Barbara are coming over, and I can't wait for you to meet them. They're really cool. And I was like, great. I didn't know that they were a generation older than us. I didn't know she was white and he was black. I had no clue. He just said, they're coming over. I'd love for you to meet them. And was I shocked when I met them? Not at all. I just met them as people. And we have been friends since that day, and I adore them. In fact, John and Barbara, John's 6'4", 5', 6", he's tall, held Ava when she was just 24 years old, y'all, 24 hours old, and she could fit in his, I wish I had a picture of it. It was the most beautiful thing. So that's been Uncle John and Aunt Barbara for their entire lives. In fact, they were older before they realized they weren't actually related. So I put her in a daycare that was predominantly, actually there were no white kids in her class. Miles had 2 in his class, but and there were kids with disabilities there. It was a United Cerebral Palsy daycare, and they needed a certain number of typical kids, blended in. And so I was like, yeah. And I remember my granddad saying at the Christmas program, don't you think she needs to be around white folks? I was like, she's around an entire family of white folks. I started off not wanting my kids to see color, I'm getting to that. So I didn't want to qualify people. We're just people. And I get emotional. That was not my plan. So I remember my same granddad, bless him, grew up in the South, and his family, old Southern, I don't even have to say that they were slightly racist. Not horrible. They didn't go around using the N-word and care. Well, actually, he did. But not in a, there's no nice way to use that word. But here's the thing, and I did not know this, in his 80-something years, He never knew a black person as a friend, ever, ever. And John and Barbara came to everything at our house. They still do. Birthday parties and heck, they used to just walk in the back door with a glass of wine and hop down and hang out. And I miss that more than anything since we moved over here. Because we even put a door between our yards so we could just go back and forth. But he got to know John. And I don't know how many doctorates they have between them, but they're just really cool people that can talk about anything. And they're also, we're Methodist ministers. And he was like, oh my gosh, he got to meet John and he got to know him, and he couldn't wait. Every time my granddad came to our house after that, he's like, John gonna be there? I'm like, yeah, so are your great grandkids. But he was so excited to see John. He just thought John was the coolest thing. And I thought, if you got to know any other African Americans, they're the same. They're just the same as us. Exactly the same. And that's just a shame that for 80 years, he had missed out on so many friendships that he could have had. And I'm here to tell you, I didn't realize how blessed I was, even though I was raised in the South, how blessed I was to go to school. I went to elementary. I was born in 1968. Y'all, throw it out there. How blessed I was to go to a school during desegregation, during busing. And I know some people may, have a problem with that, but it was wonderful. And I've been messaging with my classmates on our school page, our class page, and they all feel the same way. We were bused, every year they rotated by last name, and we were bused. We'd walk up to our school and get bused down to the other neighborhood, and they would get bused up to our neighborhood. And it was an amazing mix. It was almost 50-50, you guys. It was literally like half black, half white. And we all grew up that way. From first grade on, we graduated that way. And I've been to my 10-year reunion. I've been to my 20-year reunion. And y'all, I've been to my 30-year reunion. And it's not segregated. It's not. We're all friends. We go to each other's families' funerals. We go to, sadly, our classmates' funerals together. And we celebrate each other. And when our rival school closed down, we all, or actually when they'd moved buildings, but our high school was tearing down their field and building a new one. They called it One Last Hurrah. And half of us were black and half were white that showed up for that. And I feel so blessed to have had that, to still have that. And I hate that so many people, you're missing out on half the friends you could have. And it breaks my heart. But so what I'm getting at is my daughter and my son, I just kind of taught them not to see race. And I actually think I did them a disservice, because they should see race, but they should honor it, and they should understand and have conversations and understand why people are protesting and why things are happening. My mom and I took Ava to see Hidden Figures when she was, I think, 9. And Catherine Johnson, I always get Catherine and Kathleen mixed up. I think it's Katherine Johnson, is one of my daughter's heroes. And we went to see it, and she was so upset during the movie. She just kept looking at me. She's like, why are they doing that? Why can't they use the bathroom? Why can't they drink from that water fountain? And she couldn't understand, because I had never explained to her the history, the ugly, ugly history in our country. And guys, we have to acknowledge it, or it will continue to repeat itself. You can't deny it. And so I think I've done them a disservice. So I've had to do a lot of teaching with my kids. And recently, when I told Ava, she keeps up with the news, and she's on some social media. She's on Facebook or LinkedIn, y'all, or like LinkedIn, Instagram. But she keeps up, and we have the news on. And she asked why they were protesting. And I told her about Mr. Floyd and made her promise, Pinky promised she would not watch the video anywhere because I was so upset watching. I can't even tell you. Like everyone else that has a heart. And when I told her about it, she started sobbing and bawling and said, "Mama, how can one human do that to another?" And I said, I don't know. I don't know how anyone could do that to anyone else. But I said, babe, you're right. How could one human do that to another? But the fact is, unfortunately, white humans have been doing horrible things to African American humans throughout our nation's history. And a lot of white humans choose not to see it. And we have to see it. We have to see it for it to change. My heart breaks for my friends of color. I can't even stand it. John Meacham, I'm going to turn this off because I'm an ugly crier. I'm like really ugly when I cry. John Meacham, who's a historian, was on yesterday, I think. And he said something that stuck with me. And he said, people keep saying, this isn't who we are. America, this is not who we are. You know what? Damn it, it is who we are. It is who we are. If it wasn't, this wouldn't be happening. So the question shouldn't be, is this who we are? The question should be, is this who we want to be? Is this the example you want to set for your children? What example do you want to set for your children? What legacy do you want to leave for your grandchildren? What side of history do you want to be on? What kind of country do you want to leave for them? And we have to do better. There are so many things that have to change, and we can't be quiet. Y'all, I have been told to be quiet for a long time. In college, we were at a gay bar one night because it's the best bar in town. Honestly, it's the best bar in town. And we were in line, and some people were bashing gay people in the line. We're actually going to see a friend of mine's drag show that night. He's phenomenal. Was phenomenal. This was a long time ago, but I'm sure he's still phenomenal. Marty, it's for you. But I got really upset and popped off to these people, and my girlfriend said, do you have to constantly just be this crusader for all these causes? I mean, it's like you'd think you had a black Jewish gay sister. And I said, I do. I do. People who are gay or lesbian or black or white or Hispanic or Asian or Native American or Jewish or Christian or Muslim or atheist, I don't care. They are my brothers and sisters, and I think we should all stand up for each other. Don't pick and choose. We're human. And we're Americans. And we have to do better as Americans. And as humans. Alright, I'm ugly crying. I'm going to get off here. I was going to tell you all the story about the pink lily and the brown lily and how it was great, but I still don't know if it was great. That's up for grabs, but I'm going to do even better to teach my children our history so it doesn't repeat itself, because it keeps repeating itself. Y'all, please stay safe, don't be quiet, and go vote. Please go vote so we can change all this. I love you.